Hi, everyone. Since we aren't meeting required this week coming up, week 5 in the course schedule, although the Monday is optional, so please do come to that. We'll go over this in person, so you won't need to watch the video if so. So I'll do a screen share and talk you through everything that you need to know in order to get a full credit on your submission for this week and have this rough draft submission be as effective for you as possible in your paper process. So here's what you need to know. To earn full credit for your rough draft submission, there's a few things that you need to do. First of all, be sure to submit on time. So in week 5, group B's due date is Tuesday by noon, and group A's due date is Wednesday by noon. And you also will be submitting on Classroom as a Google Doc, so make sure you submit as a Google Doc. If you are unfamiliar with how to write a paper as a Google Doc, you can, of course, there is posted on Classroom a video walkthrough of how to convert like a Microsoft Word document to a Google Doc. So please make sure you take advantage of that if you need help doing that. Please note, to submit this paper, please don't just hit share on your actual doc. Instead, you need to go into the Classroom assignment and submit it there on Classroom. And I'll walk you through some of these things once we get off of this screen share and on to the next one. Make sure, number 3, make sure your draft is complete. So it should be intro, body paragraphs, and conclusion all the way through the paper. If you're stuck on the conclusion, you only have a few sentences, or if you only have a few sentences of a body paragraph because you're sort of stuck, that's okay. And then it's also really important, very important to earning full credit on this. You will also ask questions on your doc. So you will be typing questions to me that you want me to focus your feedback on, so that it's not just me sort of editing your paper for you. It will be, like a conversation where we are talking through together what you need to know. The other thing I really want you to know is that you can sign up for a Zoom conference this week. So you will see on Classroom there is a conference sign up sheet here, paper number 1, Zoom conference schedule. And when you click into that, you have the option to edit. I see a few of you have already signed up, which is awesome. So you want to sign up for a paper conference schedule. Make sure if you are turning in your paper on Wednesday and you're planning to turn it in on Wednesday, please don't sign up for a Wednesday morning tutorial because I will not have had a chance to read your paper already. So just be mindful of that. I have conferences on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday available. And I've made a note here, if you don't sign up for a conference appointment, you'll receive written feedback instead. So I know some of you may have issues with your computer, your bandwidth, Zoom isn't working very well, maybe you don't have a camera or whatever. So written feedback can substitute for the Zoom conference. When you do sign up, just like Madeline did here, good job, Madeline, please put your group, your class meeting time and your group, just so that I can quickly find your paper, that you've submitted on Classroom. And let me show you what I mean by asking good questions too. So here is your paper. And you will have your entire rough draft of your paper. And here's what I recommend for asking questions. After your paper is finished, just make a little thing here and just type your questions here on the end of the paper. And then I'll be able to write below this or comment to the side your questions. So you want to ask 2 quality questions for feedback. And I really recommend you think about the way your question is phrased. So questions that start with how are often really good. So how can I improve my intro? And you can even type a little bit of an explanation to me, like I really struggled with my intro. I wasn't sure if I should do this or this. So how can I improve my intro? And then I'll come in afterwards and type answers to this. So asking these questions will allow me to make sure that you're getting the feedback that you need. Feedback that will be valuable to you, feedback on the parts of the paper that you struggled with the most. You could also ask, like, how are my transitions from paragraph to paragraph? You want to avoid asking yes or no questions. So something like, is my thesis good? I could say yes or I could say no, right? So you're not really asking for the type of feedback you want if you ask yes or no questions. Instead, you want to ask questions that will ask for answers that are more explanatory and more developed than a simple yes or no. So just leave your questions here on the bottom. You can, of course, also use the comment feature. Like if you have a question on this transition specifically, you can highlight it and use the plus to type your question here. I really struggled with this transition. Can you help me me improve it, right? So you could leave your comment here. However, please don't leave comments all the way throughout the paper, because I will be doing that. And if you leave a comment, I can't leave a comment on that same thing without like deleting your comment. So it's just much simpler if you ask your questions here, unless you have like a specific sentence or a very specific area that you have a question about, okay? You will want to use MLA format, your name, my name, the class, and the date formatted like this, number, month spelled out, year. You will want a title. So, you know, make it look like this. Double spaced is best because it's much easier for someone to read double spaced. Here's what I mean by you do not need to go up here and select share and then share this doc with me. By submitting it on Classroom, that already shares it with me. So you do not need to do this, and I get a separate email notification. And this is not how you submit this paper. That is not how I want you to turn it in. Instead, please do go to Classroom, click on the rough draft submission, and then there'll be a thingy that says, you know, like attach a file, and you'll select from your drive and select the doc. And after you receive your feedback next week, so after you get your paper back from me, you'll get, you know, a notification that says you've received a score, hopefully 10 out of 10 if you've done everything that you need to do for this week submission. Remember to make a copy of your paper doc, okay? So that will look like this. When you have your doc, you'll go to File, Make a Copy, and then it'll say copy of. So maybe you want to say revised copy of or copy number 2 so that you can keep track of which one is your rough draft and which one is your revised draft. So make sure you label them appropriately. And then once you click OK, that'll just make another copy. And then you'll do your revisions on the second copy and not the original copy, because remember, you need to preserve all of this for your portfolio. You need all of your drafts, okay? So make a copy of your paper doc and then revise significantly. So you should be doing at least 2 areas is really like the bare minimum. So at least 2 areas of significant revision. You want to revise your intro, you know, you want to revise as far as organization is concerned, maybe changing the order and changing your transitions. Maybe you need a lot more development. So you're going to go back to several of your body paragraphs and add more examples, right? So significant revisions into your second draft. And remember that your revised draft will receive a paper score. So you'll receive like an A, B, C, D on your second draft. So you definitely want to take all of the comments into consideration and think about how you can do really global revisions, okay? So next week, you'll be submitting your revised draft for a score on your paper. So I'll leave you with this, the information on what you need to do to submit to receive full credit this week. If you have any questions, please do email me. Don't forget to sign up for a Zoom. Highly encourage that you do a Zoom conference with me over the rough draft of your paper, and then we can talk about your questions in a more conversational way.